Hello and welcome to another edition of the Father and Son Pastime Podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin. How are you?
That's my dad. Dad, we're doing drafts again. It's been a while. We've been watching a ton of baseball with the playoffs and the World Series going on. Today's an off day of the World Series, so of course we're recording some podcast, and we're doing the Hall of Very Good draft again, Dad. We're really excited about it. The 2000s is our focus today. We're not going to do the 2010s. It's too recent, so this will be our most up-to-date, I suppose, Hall of Very Good draft. We may look at the 80s and 70s in the future. The 90s were a big hit. That was our first draft we ever did, and I really like the Hall of Very Good draft. If you're familiar at home with the rules of the Hall of Very Good draft, similar rules to this one. I know you did that, Dad. I love my rules. I got to have my rules.
Yeah, since he was 2.
All right, so let's recap a few things. There's actually more rules this time than last time. And it's not because I haven't won a draft yet or won a poll of the cards. Just to recap, obviously you can't be in the Hall of Fame. You can't be on the Hall of Fame ballot, and we're in October 2021 right now, so we're going to use the January of 2022's ballot. For example, someone like Jimmy Rollins, Alex Rodriguez, and David Ortiz are on that ballot coming up, so they are not eligible for this draft. They can't still be playing, so like the Miguel Cabreras, the Albert Pujolses, they're ineligible for the draft. Sort of a gentleman's rule here, but not expected to make the Hall of Fame. People that come to mind are Ichiro Suzuki or Adrian Beltre, Dad. I think both will make the Hall of Fame. Clearly would be the first pick of this draft. They are not eligible because, again, they're passing the gentleman's test. They're going to make the Hall of Fame. And lastly, you have to have 7 years/season played in this decade. So that could be 2000 to 2006. That's 2003 to 2009. Some hodgepodge mix of those years because maybe you're injured 1 year, whatever. But 7 years, be known for being a player of this decade. What sucks is we lose a lot of talent that came out of the 2004 rookies. David Wright, Matt Holliday, Adrian Gonzalez, Jose Bautista, Kevin Youkilis, and Joe Mauer all started their careers in 2004. Some possible future Hall of Famers there. Some, awesome players, but they're not eligible for this draft. And fun fact, none of them won Rookie of the Year that year. So, Jason Bay won the Rookie of the Year that year, I believe.
And burned out.
Yeah, Jason Bay had a few good years. Maybe we'll talk about him in this. Well, we won't because he was in 2004. So we're not going to talk about Jason Bay.
Right.
But yeah, so 2004 was
War number 44.
Great year for baseball. We're going to have a Jason Bay draft at this point. So those are the rules. For those that are still watching, because we're 3 minutes into the podcast and we're still about the rules, we appreciate you. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, because you're our number one fan. So that was some of the greats. If you remember from the original Hall of Very Good draft, we're going to pull a card out of this deck. That person decides their order. Obviously, the highest card is probably always going to take the first overall draft. You can draft however you want. Catcher first, pitcher first, DH, second base, whatever, that makes sense. We draft a full lineup with a DH. I do have 2 managers, Dad, just for fun if we wanted to do that. But a pitcher, just a starter. We don't need a closer or reliever. Catcher, first base, second base, shortstop, third base. Outfielders, a DH. And it should be quite fun, Dad. There's great depth, I think, in a lot of categories. This isn't like a top-tier person and then a big drop-off. Yeah. I really think we'll have competitive teams. I outright don't know who's going to win this draft. It's half the fun of drafting. We're going to see. I can't wait to see what you come up with. You have really good picks in the past, Dad. Putting good karma out there so I get a good card. You go first. So we draft.
Close my eyes to make it legit. Oh, you're going to win!
He pulled a 3, show the camera. I'm just going top, or just right here. I got an ace!
Wow.
Finally pull an ace. I promise you I didn't need to do that. I just pulled a card. So I will, Dad, of course. For the first time.
Good for you.
4 drafts in, I get the top card. I was thinking about this, Dad, if I did get, because I was feeling it. I was feeling that it was finally my time. I didn't know who is truly the best overall person. Obviously, I think for a category you can go a lot of different ways. I think I have to be true to when I think of 2000s non-Hall of Famers, I think of Jim Edmonds. I love center fielders. If you know me, you know my obsession with Ken Griffey. Ken Griffey completely dominated the 90s. I know he's not eligible because he's in the Hall of Fame, but Jim Edmonds dominated center field for the Cardinals in the 2000s. He destroyed the Cubs. He was a Cub killer both offensively and defensively. I think getting Jim Edmonds, who has a 60 career WAR, at the top of my list, he deserves that. He has 6 Gold Gloves during this decade. He averaged 30 home runs and a 300 average for his 9 or 10 seasons in this decade.
How many Gold Gloves?
6. 6 Gold Gloves. I believe that tops the charts for all Gold Glove. No, it ties it for eligible people during this draft. Maybe I'll get the other person. But Jim Edmonds is my leadoff pick. He's not going to probably bat leadoff, but he's my first pick playing center field.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I had him in on my center fielder as well.
Get another pen real quick. Sorry about that.
Okie dokie. My turn?
It is your turn.
I'm going to go strong up the middle as well.
Okay.
I'm picking a shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
Picking one of my favorite players of all time.
I think I know where you're going with it.
And used to love to watch him play. We used to go to Camden Yards and just loved his little, pre-batting, waiting for the pitch, his little ritual and everything else. Number 5 for the Boston Red Sox, Nomar Garciaparra.
And truly, I don't even know how Nomar's not in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, my God. He was in the wrong era.
Yeah, I think he played with too much competition.
Oh, shortstop? Yes.
He did get injured, had to go to first base for the Cubs/Dodgers at the tail end of his career. Only person on, a lot of my research of the people I'm going to go with, only person that made it 2 times on the Hall of Fame ballot. Jim Edmonds, for example, was off after the first ballot somehow. Yet I think a lot of people would take Jim Edmonds over Nomar Garciaparra on their team. But I love Nomar. He's one of my favorite athletes of all time. The jump throws, in my mind, equaled Derek Jeter's. And he was a staple for the Red Sox for about 6-7 years.
And not the best athlete in his family.
No, yeah, Mia Hamm, shout out. But he's going to be unfortunately remembered for more of the injuries for the tail end of his career.
Correct.
But
his feet gave him a lot of problems and all that stuff. But when in his prime, he was as good as Jeter.
Yeah, one of the coolest names in all of baseball.
Oh yeah.
First or last.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah.
Great pick, Dak. Great pick. I think
Thank you.
I have a good. That was my first pick for shortstop, so I will be going with my second pick there, and I'm fine with that. I'll wait on him. I'm gonna go pitching.
Wow.
I was debating between center field or pitcher to lead off. I had a feeling you'd pick a position player, so there's a little bit of draft offense defense there. I'm gonna go with the only pitcher available that had 2 Cy Youngs during this decade that's not on the Hall of Fame ballot or already in the Hall of Fame, like Randy Johnson or Pedro Martinez, but Johan Santana.
Damn it.
2 Cy Youngs during this time. Career WAR 51. Shout out Johan Santana.
Rule 5 draft, by the way.
Right, he's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Just to gush on him a little bit more, 2 Cy Youngs, a Gold Glove, 4 All-Stars, and 3 times the ERA leader. He had the lowest ERA in the league 3 seasons in that decade. Yeah. Again, he competed alongside Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens, Mike Mussina for a couple years.
Yeah, he was a star. I mean, Minnesota had a nice squad back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So I thought there's a lot of great pitchers in this decade that qualify, and I'm very excited to see who you pick. I think that if we're looking at a dominant starting pitcher, I got it. I'm very happy with my pitcher.
You should, and a left-hander. Yeah, good for you.
Thanks, Dad. Uh-oh, drafting scared. Uh-oh. I'm in your head.
I'm going, my next pick, probably the most unheralded player during this era. He was part of the Killer Bees, but didn't get much notoriety.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
And I think if you think of clutch performers during that era, he never got his due. I'm going with Lance Berkman of the Astros as my right fielder.
Fantastic pick. 52 career WAR on Lance, 5 All-Stars, and he was, again, a lot of people in this decade did this, but again, you said he kind of did it unheralded because of Biggio, Bagwell, but 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, pretty much a lock, and again, another Cub killer.
You are right. And great in the postseason. In the postseason. You know?
Steady.
Yeah, but yeah, I think when I saw his name, I said he'll be my first or second draft.
Is he your left fielder, I imagine?
I have been right.
Yeah,
but
he can play either one.
Yeah.
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 Okay, that's cool. He could also play. I think he played first base after Bagwell.
He
left.
did.
So yeah.
He did.
So yeah, that's fine. We'll put him in. Put a little note for you that he was right. And obviously, you got Garciaparra at shortstop. Okay, back to me. Plenty of first picks left. That's fine. I'm gonna sit on. I guess I can sit on my right fielder if you're going Lancey. God, there's so many good players. I think, again, when I'm thinking 90s, being true... Sorry, not 90s, 2000s. When I'm being true to that decade, Jim Edmonds. Again, I would think Pedro a little bit, but in terms of non-Hall of Famers, Johan Santana, Jorge Posada. He is... I don't want to say far and away, because there was...
This first pick is killing me.
I know that. You know how I felt for 3 drafts. Jorge Posada, 5-time All-Star, I believe several championships, 2009 and the 2000 Yankees, I believe. So I think that's 2. There's some great catchers, and I know which either one I think you'll pick. But Pasada, don't know how he was only a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think that's just an absolute travesty. But Johan pitching to Jorge, dynamite, 1-2 team. 42 career WAR. Very happy with that.
Yeah. Very, very good. I like that. I'll hang on to my catcher now for a while. I'm going first base.
Oh, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous.
And
Go ahead.
There's 5 great candidates. And I have to choose between 2 of my top. I'm going with the person that had, I think, the most longevity during his time. Okay. And he was the king of Colorado, Todd Helton.
Todd Helton, I'm so sorry to tell you, is still in the Hall of Fame ballot.
Okay.
I would love to have you take him because I have another first baseman in mind, but Todd Helton is still in the Hall of Fame ballot, middling in the middle.
Okay. All right. I thought that he thought that he didn't have a chance, whatever.
No, if you're still in the Hall of Fame ballot.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'm going to Ryan Howard then.
I think Ryan Howard started in... No, I think he's on the upcoming ballot. He's on the upcoming 2022 ballot, so no to that.
All right. Then I'm going with, I think, another unheralded player that was fantastic with the Marlins and the Cubs, Derrek Lee.
Yes, great pick. Yes, that he was on my board. Not my first or second choice, but again, such depth at that first base. You literally named
probably the most athletic first baseman they had during that era, by the way.
Another 30 home run, 100 RBI guy, and 3 Gold Gloves.
Consistent,
very consistent.
Yeah. And the Cubs stole him from Miami.
Yes,
cheap Choi.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yes.
So Dad has drafted first base. Derrek Lee. I was thinking the Astros still. Carlos Lee on that Lance Berkman team.
Yeah, I'm happy with Derrek Lee.
Oh, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
So you got Nomar so far, Lancey, Berkman, and Derrek Lee.
3 outstanding players.
You all have NL Central connections.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm drafting interleague at this point. Okay, you scared me a lot with first base. And it's probably not... I know you drafted your first baseman, but he's still good. You could use him as a DH. One of my favorite players of all time, Carlos Delgado. Just going to grab him now.
Yeah, he was there and waiting for me to be called.
I don't know if I'm going to use him at first base or DH yet, so we'll kind of pencil him in at either one. But I knew he was going to be on my team in some capacity. So he just scared me there. Only one All-Star during this time, a really underrated player, also off the ballot after his first attempt. But he would average 40 home runs and 100-plus RBIs a season. Just never got the look, maybe because of kind of playing in Toronto at the wrong time. You know, not in the 92-93 championship teams, playing at sort of like the middle ground years before they had Batista, Edmund Encarnacion, Troy Tulowitzki. I just think he never got the credit he deserved. Lifetime career WAR, 44.
Beautiful.
So, could be first base or DH, not sure yet. But I got to have him on my team.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
Very steady. I'm going to surprise you with my next pick.
Uh-oh.
I need a leadoff hitter, and I want a strong lineup.
Okay.
And there's a second baseman out there that fits the bill. That was a switch hitter, very unheralded, leader of this team during this time, and he always hit for average, had lots of stolen bases, great defensively. I'm going with Brian Roberts.
Whoa.
At second base.
I was so... You're making me nervous with your picks and then going with not what I would choose. Brian Roberts. He was on my board, but not my top pick.
Uh-huh.
Yes. What you were saying about everything so far, and you said one thing at the end, I was like, oh, this guy really wasn't a leader of his team. And that was for my pick.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were going to go with my guy, and then you said leader of his team, and my guy is not the leader of his team. You'll see why in a second.
Yeah. But Todd, what a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, when you think of Brian Roberts, you should think of one word, and that's hustle. He was a shorter guy before Jose Altuve came into the picture. Really kind of paved the way for short and second baseman.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Because this is also the time period of people like Jeff Kent still in the Hall of Fame ballot. The eve of Robinson Cano debuting. So power hitting second baseman was a thing during Brian Roberts' time, but he still got all-stars despite being just consistent. Playing every day up until I think he got a concussion towards the end of his Oriole days, but kind of like the Oriole Yankee days.
Yeah.
Great pick. Brian Roberts is someone you think of when you think of the 2000s for sure.
He was so good that he got one great contract with the Yankees, and that's when the medical started catching up with him. So, but yeah, I mean, if you really think about, turning a single into a double, I think he used to steal between 30 and 40 bases a year. I mean, he was pretty good. So yes, so I researched that and I like that pick, and I'm going to be strong up the middle.
Okay, I know what my next two picks are going to be. I don't know what order to take them in, but I will take them in. Not who I like more, but who I think is a better baseball player. I'm going third base, and Eric Chavez. Again, thinking 2000s baseball. 6 Gold Gloves during the 2000s. Him and Jim.
He was good.
Absolutely. Being in Oakland, never got to see, but he was that 2002 Moneyball team. Eric dominated the early 2000s. He was on the cover of a video game during that time, too. So he, first ballot off the Hall of Fame, 38 career WAR. They said 6 Gold Gloves. He had a great average, great glove. He had some power, 30 or so home runs a year. Just, if he was on the Yankees, the Red Sox, I think he'd be in the Hall of Fame. He's had a phenomenal career. 2-3 more good seasons, maybe we have a different story. Different city, we have a different story. But Eric Chavez, third baseman.
Good pick.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good pick. Well, I'm going to finish my strong... Well, I got 2 more picks for strong up the middle. I think I'm going to go catcher first.
Okay.
We need a captain.
Yes, then I know where you're going with your choice.
We need a captain, and we need somebody that can be leader in the clubhouse. And hey, this is what we're going to do. Everybody step in line, and I am going to take control of the team. Jason Varitek.
We have Yankees, Red Sox behind the dish. Very 2000s, 2003, 2004, ALCSs. What's a better rivalry story than that? I love, as obviously a fan of the Red Sox and a fan of Jason Varitek, love him. If you're a fan of baseball, you know who has a better catcher. I'm just being honest. I actually, just to also put it out there, Tech was not my second choice. Tech was my third choice if we had another person drafting with us. He's still an option for DH if I choose to go with him, so I'm not going to reveal him yet. But Jason Varitek's still a great pick. I got to get this pick out the way, Dad.
We need a captain.
I know you need a captain. Right now, Jorge Posada could be a captain. Jim Edmonds could be a captain. I'm going to go with a clubhouse guy. I'm going to go with, when you think of doubles in the 2000s, there should be one name that comes to mind, and it's a very near and dear name to me. It is Garret Anderson.
Aww.
He'll be my starting left fielder. The reason why my dad awed when I was 9, so this is like 2001, 2002, saw Garret Anderson live in person, and he threw me a ball, made me a lifetime baseball fan. So really a simple choice. I was thinking about just doing first overall pick, but this is not a sentimental draft. I'm trying to beat him for the first time. But Garret Anderson, starting left fielder, him and Jim Edmonds, nothing is getting up that side of the outfield. And just to gush a little bit more about Garret, 3 All-Star games during this time. Again, king of doubles, 20 home runs, some power, but he always had 100 RBIs because of the doubles.
2 Angels on your team, by the way. your third baseman, and your left fielder.
Chavez is the Athletic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was saying Tony Klaus. Sorry.
That's
sorry,
okay.
sorry.
Troy Glaus.
Yes, Troy,
Yeah.
right there. Sorry.
He's a possibility, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Remember the railroad tracks we had to go up and all that? Fan. Alrighty.
Garret Anderson. 2 R's, 1 T.
I'm going up the middle, last pick up the middle. Probably the strongest center fielder as far as defense out there, and is a legend in Fenway Park. Torrey Hunter is my center fielder.
Torrey Hunter is unfortunately on the ballot this year.
Is he?
Yeah, first time
Wow.
on the ballot.
Huh?
So Torrey Hunter's not an option.
Huh.
Yeah.
I thought he was eligible.
No, Torrey Hunter's on the 2022 ballot. I know, it's a great pick.
Okay.
He's a legend for the wrong reasons in Fenway.
I know that, but
Yeah.
I had thought that. Okay, we're going to third baseman, and I'm going to go with somebody that is local. You played on the same field as this young man did. Severna Park native, Mark Teixeira.
You said third base?
Yeah, because that's how he came up as a third
You
baseman.
want to play Mark Teixeira at third base?
I do.
Not as a first baseman.
No, he came up as a... I got Derrek
I'm
Lee at
pretty
first
sure
base.
Mark Teixeira is also on the ballot.
I don't know. I think he's off.
Now, let me check real quick. Pause, everybody. I appreciate this as we do station identification here in
Okay.
WGN. Because, again, I saw the same thing for first base, and I think he is on the upcoming ballot.
I don't think so.
We'll bring it out.
Okay. I thought his time is up.
He's not on the upcoming ballot, but hold on, because I think he might have started in 2004.
No, he was before then.
Start thinking of a backup if you can't get
I
it.
got 2 backups.
That's a third baseman.
That's where he came up.
You're right. He came up in 2003.
Yeah. Started with the Rangers.
You did. He is on. I missed him. He is on the 2022 ballot. Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz, Mark Teixeira, Jimmy Rollins are all on the 2022
Okay.
ballot. Ryan Howard.
I will go with Scott Rowland, then, of the Phillies.
Scott Rowland is on the ballot as well.
Okay, I'll go Troy Glaus.
Yeah, Troy Glaus would work. Hey, I'm telling. We're using the same ballot, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Scott
Troy.
Rowland is. He got 52% of the vote last year.
Okay.
Otherwise, that'd be a great pick. Scott Rowland would be like a cheat code. Yes, Troy Glaus, 4 All-Star games, 30 home runs, and 100 RBIs. Troy Glaus at third base, good pick.
Okay. My infield is set with my catcher.
Third base is Troy. Second base, Brian Roberts. Shortstop's Nomar. Derrek Lee's first base, Tech and catcher. Now you got to do DH, left field, and center.
I can do it all.
Okay, I'm going to... I'm still kind of in between that draft. I don't need to draft shortstop just yet. Although he... Yeah, I'm gonna grab him because he could be a good DH for you. He did DH at the end of his career. At shortstop, I'm drafting Michael Young. So Michael Young, first off, not only during this time... First off, I think Michael Young should have been in the Hall of Fame with all the hits he had. First ballot off the Hall of Fame. Michael Young, during this time in the 2000s, 6 All-Star games. This is with Nomar and Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez.
Wasn't he end up as second baseman?
He started second baseman, played a season or 2, did 5 or 6 seasons at shortstop, finished his career as a third baseman, then as a DH. He just moved around the infield.
And you stood next to him at Bowie.
I did meet this man. He only has 1 Gold Glove, and it is at shortstop.
Okay.
Guaranteed 300 average. He had a batting title 1 year. He had no All-Star games at second base. Again, they were all either shortstop, third base, and I think he might have got the last one of his career as like a DH. But yeah, so Michael Young playing shortstop is my pick. Like I said, I was going with my number 2. He took Nomar.
Okay.
Michael Young, 6-time All-Star. I'm getting giddy with my my lineup so far. I'm happy with it. It's a call of nostalgia. Please do this on your own. You'll feel it.
Alrighty, I'm going with a left fielder that had an outstanding career.
Left fielder. Okay.
Yes, left fielder. Started as a second baseman, and then he ended up in left field. But he had tremendous power, tremendous speed. At one point, he was a 40-40 guy. Alfonso Soriano.
As an outfielder, that's so tough. Yeah, that's totally fine. Yes, Alfonso Soriano, 7-time All-Star, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, like a 300 average, and he had 400 career home runs as a left fielder. You didn't think about that. I had Soriano as my first pick at second base. That's okay. I'll go with somebody else for that position. Good pick, Dad. You took my first picks up the middle for second. Shortstop made me go different ways. I'll sit on second. I'm going to draft who I thought was the better right fielder out of Chicago during the 90s and 2000s, Magglio Ordonez, the non-steroid right fielder of Chicago. Now, I got Maglia because, A, I thought his swing was really sweet. He hit .363 one year. He had good defense, good arm, and was a 5-time All-Star in the 2000s. Anytime, by the way, we're mentioning how many All-Stars or Gold Gloves they got, we're specifically talking about that decade. So they might have got an All-Star in the 90s or in the 2010s, another Gold Glove or something. We're focused on the 2000 stats.
Okay.
So yeah, Maglia Ordonez, my outfield is set. I'm super happy with Garret, Jim, and Maglio. You're not tagging up. You're not getting in a gap hit. You're getting it all caught.
I'm going pitching.
About time.
I'm going to surprise you with this pick.
I don't think so.
He was the leader of the Oakland Athletics.
No, he's my second round pick.
Yep.
Yep.
Great pitcher, steady, 20-game winner, many All-Star game appearances, and the only player that has last name starting with a Z, Barry Zito.
Great pick. He dropped off the ballot for the first time. Mulder's the other good choice here. He's still on the ballot. But yeah, he won 23 games one year. When you think of Barry Zito, you think of being consistent. He is a Cy Young winner. Not 2-time, like Johan, but he does have one.
The Battle of the Left-Handers.
Kind of was the 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad. What should I do?
We're down to our last pick, by the way.
We are down to... No, I have first base / DH and second base to do.
Oh, I don't have a DH.
Yeah, that's probably why. I'm going to let you almost decide my future a little bit, because I can't make the decision on who to draft DH-wise. Yeah, I've committed to that. I will go Placido Polanco at second base. If you know anything about Polanco being a Tiger, another just underrated player because of the team he was probably on, didn't get the attention he deserved, but high average, great defense. You could put him anywhere. You could put him as a leadoff hitter. You could put him as an eighth guy. He always found a way to get on base. 42 career WAR, which is higher than Alfonso Soriano's career WAR and higher than Brian Roberts' career WAR. So Placido Polanco, easy choice for my second baseman.
Okay. I'm going to go DH and / outfielder, great bench player, unheralded in Philadelphia, Bobby Abreu.
I think Bobby Abreu, I don't want to keep doing this to you. I think Bobby Abreu is on the ballot.
Son of a gun.
He's 8% of the vote last year.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go... A lot of names cross off the list. I think I'm going to... Mike Lowell is my DH.
Okay. We got a World Series MVP. I think that's the first time we've talked about one of those today.
Yep.
Mike Lowell.
Yep.
DH, also third base candidate.
Correct. Gives me some flexibility.
20 home runs, 100 RBIs, very similar to Garret Anderson. 1 Gold Glove, but he's being your DH. And 4 All-Stars. I'd actually rather put him at third and put Troy Glaus as a DH, but that's just me.
We can always mix and match.
That's what I might do with Carlos Delgado. I'm going to see if there's any good defensive first baseman left. Derrek Lee was really the only one there. I have a lot of options. You still have to take a...
I have a center fielder that I need your help with.
Okay.
Because all mine have been either taken or eliminated.
I have a really good center fielder option for you.
Okay.
All right. I will talk about the non-center fielders that you could use. I'm thinking about drafting Paul Konerko as a first baseman or DH because I always feel he's overlooked with Frank Thomas and Jose Abreu. Aramis Ramirez for third base / DH, totally underrated. Not for third base, definitely for DH because of Eric Chavez. Adam Dunn. When you think of DHs, I think you think Adam Dunn. 40 home runs a year, but a lot of strikeouts. Sean Green is still on the board. I think that's a fantastic DH. Although Sean Green's more of a right fielder, not a center fielder, just so you know.
He's played center field.
I know you used him in your 90s draft as center field. Just some center fielders for you, Dad. Johnny Damon, Vernon Wells, Carlos Beltran, Steve Finley.
Good. I did have him. Then I'm good.
Okay,
Excuse me.
It's tough. Miguel Tejada's still on the board. He's an MVP.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... I'm going to go Paul Konerko. I'm going to put him at first base and Carlos Delgado at DH. I think Konerko, for me, again, the draft is all about people that got passed over, that were that second tier, that were in the limelight. That's Paul Konerko's career. He overshadowed by Frank Thomas, overshadowed by the emergence of Jose Abreu. Just a fantastic player. If you ever saw Konerko play, consistent player, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, 3 All-Star games, has a World Series ring, beloved in the South Side. There's just a lot of great first basemen in the White Sox history. But the draft is about bringing out the less people that are not always in the spotlight and putting them in the spotlight because they deserve it. Paul Konerko deserves a spotlight. Congratulations.
Yeah, and then I'll go Carlos Beltran in center field.
Yep.
I had him in my list. But I wasn't sure whether he was on the ballot or not. But I'll take him, and he was a great player, very offensive-minded. Would be real good in the lineup, either 3 through 6. But I am extremely happy with my lineup. Defensively, I think I gotcha.
Thinking about Carlos Beltran as a center fielder, first off, out of anyone we talked about, and I purposely tried to put him in with like a longer list of center fielders because I didn't want you to choose him, has the highest career WAR of any player drafted. So for him draft last, first off, incredible. 4 All-Star games, 3 Gold Gloves during this time, 30 home runs. Carlos Beltran is unfortunately known for the Astros cheating scandal, which may impact his Hall of Fame potential. I think he'll stay on the ballot for several years. But if Jim Edmonds falls off after his first try, I don't give that much credence to Carlos Beltran making it. Yeah, let's compare notes. All right, let's go straight down. Santana versus Zito.
Hell of a pitching match.
I have 2 Cy Young versus your 1. I think I have a better 2000s and you have a better couple years in there.
I think Zito was better in the playoffs.
Comment below. Pasada versus Varitek. Now, this is tough. I really want non-Yankee, non-Red Sox fans to weigh in because obviously I know who you're going to pick. That's tough. I think Pasada is better offensively. Tech's better as a captain. So it's kind of who you want.
Defensively, I think Jason's better.
I think it's close. Posada was great at pitch framing. Think about Gary Sanchez and Jorge Posada.
Yeah,
so, I mean, Yankee fans, you know who your catcher is.
That might be a draw.
There's Yankee fans, Dad, that think Posada is better than Yogi Berra. Just to put that out there.
He was longevity.
Yeah.
And for a catcher to last that long, says a whole bunch.
Yeah. Our first baseman, I'm officially putting Konerko at first, and you had Derrek Lee.
Yeah, Derrek Lee's better defensively.
I agree with that. Battle of Chicago, though, so another rivalry going on there. Second base, Placido Polanco versus Brian Roberts.
I gotcha.
No, you don't. Placido Polanco, 100% better. Brian Roberts never had a Gold Glove.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll double check that, but Brian Roberts never had a Gold Glove.
And that's a shame because I thought he played really well.
Oh, I'm not trying to take away the player Brian Roberts was. He just doesn't have anything. Yeah. 2-time All-Star, no Gold Gloves. And then Placido Polanco. His career WAR, hold on real quick. Career WAR was 29.5. And I know Placido's was 42. Fortitude.
But Brian's better leadoff hitter.
Polanco played longer.
Mainly with the Phillies, correct?
Phillies and Tigers.
Okay.
Had a little bit with the Cardinals on there, too. 3 Gold Gloves for Polanco, so I am better defensively.
Okay.
Facts. Shortstop. Now, technically, I have you in Gold Gloves here, too. Michael Young has a Gold Glove at shortstop. Nomar does not.
Offensively, I have you big time.
I don't think so.
Home runs and everything?
I think average-wise, RBIs and runs, Michael Young wins in. It's tough because Nomar Garciaparra, when you think of these shortstops of this time, you think of Nomar, A-Rod, and Derek Jeter. I understand that. I think I'd rather have Michael Young on my team. Especially this team I'm developing. Michael Young could be my leadoff hitter. He could.
No speed.
Third base, you don't have a chance at. Eric Chavez versus Troy Glaus.
Yep.
Or who's your DH?
Well, Mike Lowell.
Or Mike Lowell. I still think I'm better.
Okay.
I have 6 Gold Gloves.
I'll give you that.
All right. Okay. We're fighting over here. Left field battle is Alfonso Soriano versus Garret Anderson. Offense goes to you. Defense goes to me.
Yeah, but big time power though.
Yeah. Possible steroids. No, Alfonso Soriano was a good player. Center field is the battle. Jim Edmonds, Carlos Beltran. Now, Carlos Beltran, I'll double check real quick. Edmonds has 6 Gold Gloves. I'm sure Beltran has a couple, but he doesn't have 6 during this time period.
Offensively, he has them.
He has 3 Gold Gloves. 4 All-Stars. Jim Edmonds, I think, had just as many All-Star games. It's tough. It's a real tough call. If you're an AL guy, you might lean Beltran. If you're an NL guy, you'll probably lean Edmonds. Right field, Maglio Ordonez versus Lance Berkman.
I gotcha.
I think, again, it's really even. Like I said at the beginning, this is going to be a really even draft. Lance Berkman does have the pop. Maglio, I think, has a little bit of a better arm. I would have put Lance in left field versus right field. Maglio hit 363 one year.
Lance was consistently in 300s.
Correct. Lance had 5 All-Star games during this time. Maglio also had 5 All-Star games during this time. It's super even. DH, Delgado versus Troy Glaus. I will take this one. I think this one's kind of easy. Manager, do you want to do manager in this time? Who's managing these teams?
I didn't put anybody in there, but I'm thinking back in my memory. In the 90s, was Sparky Anderson still around, or was he gone?
I think he was gone.
Give me some of the choices.
Well, I'm just going to go first because
Okay.
I believe it was my turn after you did the last pick.
I did.
I will draft Terry Francona as my manager of the 90s.
Okay.
2 World Series, not the 90s, the 2000s. 2 World Series during this time. The other choice that I thought was Lou Piniella.
I was just about to say that. I'll take Luke.
All right. I got Tito.
Okay.
But, yeah, just incredible. Who do you think won? Again, Johan Santana, Barry Zito, Pasada versus Jason Varitek, Konerko versus Derrek Lee, Brian Roberts versus Placido Polanco, Nomar Garciaparra versus Michael Young, Eric Chavez versus Mike Lowell, Garret Anderson versus Alfonso Soriano, Jim Edmonds versus Carlos Beltran, Maglia Ordonez versus Lance Berkman, and Carlos Delgado versus Troy Glaus, managed by Francona, managed by Piniella.
In a 7-game series, it's 4-3 one way or the other.
Like I said, this is such an even time of baseball in the 2000s. You know, everyone's cracking down on steroids, so I thought it was just a very even team.
I think the one name that I just tried to get in there was Miggy.
Yeah, that's tough. We passed on an MVP.
I know. I just, he was my first choice, but when I saw Nomar, I had to go with Nomar for a lot of personal reasons. But Miggy was very consistent during that time.
Here's
a
some
star.
I had some dark horse snubs. Like I said, I would not have gone with Varitek if you went with Pasada. VMart, Victor Martinez, the man who doesn't strike out. I would have put during this time as my catcher. Again, another Red Sox. He was there for like a year. But yeah, Victor Martinez is just a great player. People that I think we slept on that we didn't even talk about: Mike Sweeney and Richie Sexson for first base. Really steady, consistent guys there. Orlando Hudson, 4 Gold Gloves at second base. We didn't talk about him. We didn't talk about Luis Castilla at second base, another Gold Glove 300 hitter. Shortstop Edgar Renteria.
Yeah, very good.
Jose Reyes, Christian Guzman, Carlos Guillen, underrated Carlos Guillen. The Tigers of this time, Carlos Guillen and Placido Polanco. I thought about doing that. Melvin Moore at third base should be mentioned. I said Aramis Ramirez earlier too. Outfielders that we just didn't mention, not even in passing. Brian Giles, Moises Alou, he hit 355 one year. Jermaine Dye, if you were a White Sox fan of 2005.
Or Royals.
Right, but he was a World Series MVP that year.
Yeah.
So you know that name. Johnny Damon, Vernon Wells, like I said, Raul Ibanez, some of these fantastic outfielders. Pitchers, Roy Oswalt, David Wells, Derek Lowe, Cliff Lee, Jason Smith, and of course, Kerry Wood. Some fantastic 2000s ball players. Didn't even make the Hall of Very Good.
Was Pryor in the mix, or he came in too late?
He
came in too late.
No, I think Pryor would have. I think he pitched 2001, 2002. It's just he didn't pitch that many seasons.
Right. He burnt out.
Right. He got injured. He's the coach of the Dodgers now, I believe.
Yeah.
The pitching coach. Just was a phenomenally fun draft. We're having some great podcasts lately. We're enjoying the World Series. Baseball's hot in the streets. We're loving it. The only way to really, I think, let people know, Dad, of who won the draft, put in the comments. Like it. Share it somewhere. Get other people's opinions. Mm-hmm. Follow us on socials at Pastime Podcast _ on Twitter and Instagram. And follow us on Facebook, too. The Father and Son Pastime Podcast.
One of the things that really comes to light is when we do the Hall of Very Good, the people in the Hall of Fame are so talented. And these are great players that didn't make it.
Yeah.
So to make the Hall of Fame, you have to be
elite.
Yes.
These would all make the NFL Hall of Fame because the credentials to get in there is very easy. It's very hard to play baseball, and it's even harder to make the Hall of Fame. We hope you enjoyed the draft. We'll probably gear up in a little bit to do the 80s. We'll have some other fun stuff coming down the pike for other cool drafts. The colorful drafts is still on there. I want to do 25 under 25 draft, Dad. What we're drafting the best young players in the game. I think that could be really fun. A whole team draft, a whole 25-man roster, not just a 9-10 like this. So that could be really fun and really involved. It'll be our longest draft ever. But for now, it is Astros 1, Braves 1. We're going to go enjoy the rest of the World Series. Put your World Series prediction if we upload this while the World Series is still going.
Enjoy the series.
Thank you for your time.